Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the South African Podcast. You're listening to myself, Ivik Wolf here. We have a very, very special guest this evening in Basil Caribou, also known as Jake Dane. And we also have our co-host with Scratch. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this podcast. We're going to be talking about fursuiting and jewelry making, oddly enough. Something that we haven't actually spoken about in this podcast, as well as the idea of the, general thought of the South African fandom, particularly as we're going with a little bit of a series currently with a couple of notable South African furries, something that we haven't actually done a lot of recently, and we would love to do a little bit more of that. So welcome to you, Jake Dane.
Oh, thank you for having me over.
All right, so we're going to pop straight into this. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
That's actually a bad one. Well, I joined fandom in, it was 2012, if I'm not mistaken, where I found fandom via, I was looking for a local supplier of fursuit because I wanted to be like the school's mascot, but unfortunately in South Africa we don't actually do mascots or anything for public schools or anything, so that was a bust.
Yeah,
like I don't know what else to say more. Like,
like, I mean, when it comes to mascots, I know that we've actually got a couple of awkward companies. I think South African mascot companies. I think there's a couple in Cape Town. However, I will agree with you if you're going to agree with me about the fact that they might not necessarily be the best mascots around.
Yeah,
there's a house and what seems to be a one-eyed monster and a bulldog
and
sorts
and Tickle Me Elmer.
Yeah.
Legally distinct from Elmo.
Oh, weirdly enough, there's also a Total Gas guy, like a mascot for the Total Gas canisters.
Really now?
Yeah, I believe it or not. I know that Bebo was also a mascot, and there's a cricket mascot, and then there's also a mascot that looks like a hammerhead shark, but it looks like he got hit in the side of the head a couple of times.
Sports have mascots. Why don't we have mascots?
We do have mascots.
Like in general,
Poco.
Yeah, but again, that's sports. It's university sports kind of thing, not school level stuff.
Okay.
There's no one really in the public eye, South African public eye, that's a mascot for something. When was the last time you saw a mascot of some kind or some description dancing around somewhere?
Zakumi.
Yeah, but that's sport again.
Yeah, it's mostly sports, but it's not like athletes or something like that. It's not in South Africa.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, if when it comes to the, weirdly enough, now we're on the sort of topic of mascots for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
What kind of mascots would you like to see for South Africa?
I don't know. Like maybe in schools, if they had their own type of mascot, maybe. But then it becomes like, do we really as a fandom, do we really want to get mixed up with the fandom itself, like the mascots, and then us as well?
No, and that's obviously an interesting question. Of course, I mean, would you want to be able to mascot for someone? Just randomly rock up as the fursuit mascot for a particular brand, if it paid an amount of money?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. Huh. But would you want to say that you want to build the suit yourself, and then they pay you for building and then mascotting as it?
That's technically what I'm going to do on I think it's the 9th of September.
Huh. Okay. So what exactly is the 9th of September? What happens then?
It's technically a can't remember details now, but it's a small convention held at some other place, and then they're actually hiring me out as Sven for the event itself.
So they pay money to get you to walk around for them. Like, was there a particular thing that they wanted from you? Is there something that they want from you particularly, or are you just going to become the new mascot for them?
I don't know yet.
Like,
I don't know yet, to be honest.
Because the next question would be is that does that mean that your personal property, as say Basil Caribou or Jake Dane, does that then become their property because they're paying you to wear it?
In a sense, yes, but in the other sense, no, because I still own the thing.
Yeah. No, obviously you own the suit, but the thing is that then does the suit become does that mean that every single public outing that you do in suit, does that mean that you have to then be that?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. That's actually a really odd question, or a good question. I can't answer at this one in time.
It might be worth finding out what the sort of the IP repercussions are of that.
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, like it is your intellectual property, but in that same sense, like doing that for someone else means that intellectual property becomes theirs because they've paid for you as a person. It's
True.
creepy, isn't it? Like, and
Scary, actually.
it does seem like it. So, I mean, like, in sort of on that trend, like, there are a fair amount of furries out there who are beginning to do something very alike to that, I guess, to make like public appearances in the name of a particular company. Like, does that scare you at all? The fact that now, like, it's becoming more of a corporate thing, or like maybe capitalism? I don't know. Like, what exactly?
That's really scary, to be honest. It's all good for the fandom. It's all good for exposure and everything, but it's I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. Like, it's good, but there's always a good and a bad side to everything. So.
I know that we've weirdly enough sort of fallen directly into sort of random questions, but maybe a little bit more about you in respect to how you found the fandom. What exactly happened? What was the sort of initial push towards doing it? Like, maybe we can go on that.
I don't know. Like, I just found, or I just wanted to be like, or had my own mascot outfit, and then I went onto eBay, and then I found, I think it was Don't Have Cacti, and yeah, like then I wanted a local creative, but there was only one in South Africa, and he was iffy or whatever. And then I wanted a harness, and then I can't get a harness, and yeah, like it's all over the place.
Okay.
It's all difficult to find, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, so, like, what sort of inspired you? What was the main inspiration?
I don't think there was an inspiration for me, to be honest.
I mean, you mentioned
just
Don't
like-
Hug Cacti, for instance. Like, I mean, would you say that they're inspiration to you, or?
No, I just actually liked the one suit, and then I was like, "Ooh, I like this. Let's find out if there's a cheaper alternative to this huge as fursuit." That was like back in the day. It was even 2,000 rand still. No, not 2,000 rand. $2,000 upwards.
Sure.
And I'm like, no.
I mean, I guess the exchange rate does sort of, I think, bugger us a little bit, considering that, like, I mean, the vast majority of fursuits that we have kind of consist of, what's the word? A general monthly salary.
Yeah.
You know?
It's about
But
what
it's
the
also-
average person can
Yeah.
afford in a month. It's a little bit rough.
Yeah, it is.
Not locally. Not locally.
But then again, like, isn't there a call for that, I think, to begin to start doing things locally? I know that there have been a couple of people who actually started doing that, and I know that you, Nixie, and Yote have sort of kind of started doing things, like attempting to do things locally, creating things at more local pricings, beyond, say, 100,000 rand for some of the most like intricate suits that we can get. Does that seem like there's a market for it?
Not really. It's I actually watched a few videos online as well, and they say like it's so oversaturated, even with the jewelry I'm in. It's
Mhm.
it's completely oversaturated. Like I think it was back in 2013 when I bought my first tail. There was only like a few creators that's on what's it, Furby. And now you can
Yeah.
buy suits and everybody. And I saw a lot of YouTube videos on it as well. It's completely oversaturated. So yes, there's a market, but yes, there's like everybody's doing it. So
From a capitalist perspective, one would think that the more suitors and fursuit makers there are, the pricing would go down. But in that same sense, it's like buying what would you call it? Um, boutique jewelry.
yeah,
Mm.
it's exactly the same. You will always go for your brand names. That's more popular than going for this newbie. That's what it comes down to, even locally.
Because I mean, in that same sense, you've done like a whole bunch of actually have a large amount of respect to like particular types of like markets. I mean, you've got the jewelry, you've got the fursuits, and then of course there's latex goods that we are not necessarily allowed to speak about here on the podcast itself. But like it, and the thing is that it's generally the first person who does it and does it the best seems to be the sort of victor in the market. Like, how do you think that we'd be able to sort of broaden our perspective in that respect?
Can't really answer that question.
Mm.
Like,
I mean,
I don't know how to answer it, to be honest.
I suppose just from a buyer's perspective, it would be would behoove you to check out.
Behoove?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to sort of take a chance with some newer creators. I mean, I know everyone wants to go for the brand name or whatever, but yeah, it's always good to give, I don't want to say newcomers, but yeah, other people a chance. Maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised. But people are so stuck to their brands, it's really difficult to get them out of that mindset quite often.
What I'm wondering is, would there be a sort of market for the idea that somebody from overseas who has experience and so on and so forth, being willing to train you to sell at least their level kind of stuff, like with their particulars?
Yeah, I think there really is, like, if there was a certain somebody that would actually come and give like a workshop or something for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that would be amazing. But it's also the quality of, coming back to fursuit making, it's the quality of fur we get in South Africa. It's not up to par, to be honest.
Yeah.
That is actually unfortunately true. I mean, like it's always so. I just walk me through, actually, since I mean we've had a couple of fursuiters on. I've never actually asked a question. Walk me through the stages of making a fursuit.
I just wing it every single time, so there's no special fake or like every suit maker does it differently. Like I start off with the head and then go to the body itself.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, like when it comes to design and things like that, how exactly does one fursuit?
I don't know. It's so difficult to think, but I'm not 100%. No. It's normally the designs comes from the commissioner itself or from another person. But I normally try to make it as realistic as possible, but also like cartoonic in a sense.
Yeah.
And then move on from there, from the head and then the body, or what's easier, the hand paws or feet paws, and then to the actual body itself and the tail lastly. And that's about it. It's basically very straightforward.
Okay. Just I want to take a quick moment that anybody who's listening to the podcast currently if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please do put them into the chat here on furry.fm. Guest 8, I believe that would be Badge, who is typing in all caps. So give us your sooty secrets.
In what sense?
Like whichever ones you have. Like, do ref sheets really help fursuit creators, for instance, or is it just a fad? Is it something where you actually have, some artist like connected to you, for instance, that you say like, go to this person, they'll make a fursuit reference for you. Ha ha. Like it sounds so mean, actually, to have that happen. But I mean, obviously, like, everybody has a ref sheet, for instance, because a ref sheet's extremely important for you guys, because you need to know what kind of patterning is there and whatnot. Do you want a more elaborate ref sheet, for instance, or do you want a less elaborate ref sheet where it's just like, these are the colors, this is how they fade, this is what it happens, or do you want to see them like more in detail?
I think it all depends on the species and the level of detail the client would want. If it's just like a plain basic green dog, it's fine. But when it comes to like, oh, okay, but this one has a tattoo, the tattoo has 3 colors and it needs to fade this way, you want to see it and you also want a description of it.
Yeah, fair point.
You can't just go like, oh, okay, well, here's your thing, and then the client opens it and be like, this is not what I ordered, what I paid for. You're like, oh no, what your reference is like that.
Yeesh.
So it's more like, but you also that's why you also need to keep in contact with your client itself, and then also find out if this is fine with them. If this is fine with them, give work in progresses, and also have their feedback come back to you.
And how do you communicate the sort of body measurements? If it's a full suit, then I'm assuming there's a degree of tailoring around like the midriff and the waist and everything. How do you communicate that information?
I haven't done a custom one before my own.
Oh, like you haven't done a full body for someone else yet?
No, unfortunately not. But most of the people actually use duct tape dummies, or they use measurements only.
Okay.
So they're both beneficial in some instances, but other than that, it's just basic tailoring. I think after the third one, you should be able to do it all by heart. Not bad.
Yeah,
it's like making clothes. So
yeah, provided you can make clothes to start with. Like, I am garbage with a sewing machine or needle and thread.
Yeah.
Not to mention a hot glue gun. Like, I'm more of a danger to myself than anything when it comes to hot glue guns.
Woo!
What was that?
Sorry.
It's fine.
Okay. That's cute.
What?
That was the only word that came to my mind, okay? Just leave it.
Okay, fine.
The blowing of noses is cute. Don't quote me on that. Everybody will quote me on that.
Hey, whatever you're into, man.
Yeah, whatever I'm into. Apparently, it's
such a vibe.
bodily functions. No. Noah asks, do you have any particular sort of like styles that you want to go for instance? I know that you mentioned that you wanted to go more realistic and things like that. But I mean, with Basil, for instance, as well as Jake Dane, there are particular cartoony elements to it. And that's actually something I want to ask. Because I know that a Badge has been speaking about it. Is the idea that, like, with you and, say, with Yote, for instance, like, there's a particular realism with Jake Dane and with definitely Basil. And then, of course, there's a more cartoony style, more sort of like... almost generic. I'm gonna say generic, but I mean it doesn't mean generic. But like the entirety of like how fursuits tend to be, with Yote, for instance. Like what exactly, or what kind of perspective are you looking for? Like,
I don't
what
know.
is
At this
your?
point in time, I haven't had a lot of um, commissions, as per
Mhm.
se. So it's completely up to the client, and if they're happy with my style, like that's my style. Eh, it's extremely difficult to explain.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, just try. Like, tell us what you want to have.
Yeah, no.
Like, if you had to have an ideal style, what would it be?
I would actually say semi-realistic, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Semi-realistic.
Like
So,
something a little bit
mhm.
more like smaller eyes, maybe, um, not as pronounced muzzle kind of thing, or because that's usually sort of the hallmark of the more realistic fursuit styles is that they don't over exaggerate anything too much. It's
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of more subtle angles, more softer features, that kind of thing, as opposed to the
yeah.
sort of the big eyes, the big colorful um, style. So yeah, also muted colors. Obviously, you can't have green dogs if you're going for realistic.
Yeah.
Come
No,
on.
of course.
I know, Ivik. I know. I'm blue too, so don't worry. Like,
I'm blue. No.
nope,
Um,
nope. Stop the show.
Badge asks the following: what do you advise to those who want to tackle their head themselves regarding SA climate and cooling? Is a fan worth it by
Yes.
itself, or is there a way that it should be put together so it doesn't turn your head into a microwave burrito?
Just do it. Like put a fan in there, no matter how it's connected, however it's hanging wires or whatever. Just do it. You won't regret it.
Okay. Do you have
You
a fan
won't.
in your fursuits?
Um, Jake, no. In Basil, yes, and all future fursuits will have at least 3 fans.
At least.
At least. Done. Dusted. No.
I'm assuming you've had a bad experience that brought the idea of the fans to the forefront, or is it just a case of like, I am melting and I don't want this? Please fix.
Yes.
Scratch.
Yes.
Middle of winter, right?
Yeah.
Middle of winter here in South Africa.
Yeah.
It was like
was-
14. It was 14 degrees Celsius for those of you guys who are from America. And I was wearing a partial, and the vast majority of people saw me take off and noted that it was just salt on the inside.
Oh boy. I didn't see you play any League though. Video game humor.
Ah, shot fired.
Okay.
Video games. Haha.
Okay. So Badge has another question, or at least question, but he says that that's the trick of choosing a suit maker. If you find one who creates a certain way and that either gels or doesn't, and you want them that what? You want then that suit to make your suit. Do you feel that that's a fair comparison? The entire idea that like certain styles to cover certain people, in respect to what they want from particular suitors. Obviously, I mean suit makers for that matter, because I know that like if it really comes to anything, when it comes to suit makers, everybody has their own style. I mean, you look at don't hug cacti, don't hug cacti, Yote, Nixie. Am I missing a fursuiter here or a fursuit maker here? Actually, because those
matrices.
no, what I'm talking about, like fursuit maker, talking about particularly.
Say again.
Yeah.
Oh, local ones.
No, I don't think so. I know the one that actually made fursuits, but he's like, according to finances, he's out.
Mm. Yeah, that is obvious. Sudan? Does Sudan make fursuits? Are you
No.
sure about that? No.
Doesn't she just make for herself?
No, Sudan ordered, but
Yeah.
let's
Okay.
check.
I think Sudan, as far as I remember, did make her own suits. No,
No.
didn't make her own suits. She ordered her own suits.
Yes.
Oh, right. The rev sheets is another thing. Sudan makes rev sheets. as well as EC, as well as no.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Who?
because also does
Paper Cat as well, yeah. So, I mean, like, the thing is that there's a very small group of people here in South Africa, and as much as we would love to have more fursuits in it, like, do you see a future in respect to the idea of fursuit making in South Africa just sort of solely? Or do you think that people aren't going to be able to sort of afford it?
To be honest, I don't think people can afford it. That's my personal opinion. It's really costly. But it's also, if they can afford it, they would rather go overseas than support locally. Yeah, like, I've heard a few stories, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I personally think that it would be better for us to support the local community because, yeah, I mean any way that you can help out the sort of the local furs with their building their portfolio or anything like that, and obviously that'll be great. But as you said, Jake, it's a little bit sort of dicey with the quality of materials that we get, and unless you can score some sort of good importing deals, then maybe, yeah, depending on how much you're willing to pay, then obviously that determines where you'd want to go for your suit.
Yeah, but that also comes down to the deal again. So, like, what's the difference between paying 12 grand for a maker locally than paying 15 grand for a overseas maker?
Oh, like, the quality, I would assume. Like, if it comes down to...
But if it's the same quality,
Yeah.
like, which would you rather go for? Locally or internationally?
Local. If it was... Well, A, if it was cheaper, and B, it's someone local, then obviously I'd go for local. If the quality's all the same.
But if it's like 3 grand difference, but you really like the local maker, but you really like the overseas maker as well, like, which one would you rather go for?
For me, again, local. Like, I brand names never really been much of an issue for me. Like, if I like the style of the local maker as much as I like the style of the international maker, then I'd go for the local one. But that's just me. I'm weird like that, I suppose.
I honestly would always buy local. It's one of my weird. Why would I want to say that word? It's one of my weird perspectives.
Quirks.
Yeah, quirks. Yes, thank you. I love buying local because buying local is one of the most amazing things that you can do. Firstly, you're obviously supporting somebody from your own country. You're doing everything that you can to make sure that they, in some ways, at least have business, for instance, because it's something very, very important to me. Is that like local, irrespective of maybe quality, even on that sort of perspective, is that like local is always better. Local is lekker, man. Maybe I've been brainwashed into that idea.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
But like the thing is that, like, it's not like, I mean, Ivik's not a bad suit. He's really nice.
He's actually amazing. He's really good. He's really well made.
Beyond the idea that it made, and jeez, it's difficult to be in this kind of position where we're talking about suits and things like that. It's just, I love the idea of Ivik. Ivik is an absolutely amazing thing. But again, the South African limitations are South African limitations in respect to the kind of fur that you're going to get from places. You're only going to get, say, longer fur here, and it's not necessarily as good as international, for instance. Seeing as there's a larger market for that side. I mean, it's not like I can get a plush carpet here that's half as good.
You could probably, but are you willing to pay? That's the other thing.
That's always the question.
As Badge does say, wouldn't local be quicker and easier to get a hold of for delivery?
Well, yeah, of course. Like, if you're gonna be buying anything from overseas, especially if it's textiles, you're looking at a massive customs cost.
Yeah. And for what, really? I mean, it's not even complete. Like, all you're asking for is a particular carpet.
Oh, like the just textiles is going to cost you a ton in this country. I don't know why. Not like we have a booming cotton industry or anything.
I think it's the idea of bulk buying. I mean, you can get what's the word? You can get an original.
Whoa, easy,
Are you
Peanut.
okay? Are you okay? Like,
Jake, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Jake, it sounds like you're falling down like a flight of stairs.
I was just actually adjusting.
Yeah.
Okay.
As what's the word? As Halsey says, you have two options: buy a good carpet for the house, or buy a carpet you can wear in the style of your character. Choices. I don't know. Like, and
Jake died.
no, Jake is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I come with my own peanut gallery. I'm sure if you guys ever noticed.
No.
You know.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that eventually. Soon we're going to streaming area, but that beside the point. So, in respect to jewelry, let's move from topic to topic here. When it comes to the idea of your jewelry, like I remember you mentioning something along the lines of the fact that you're becoming an apprentice jeweler.
No, not a princess.
Okay, so you're fully qualified to be a jeweler.
I'm still studying to be a jeweler per se. First year in University of Johannesburg, and then I'm actually opening my own jewelry store, which I'm releasing or exhibiting at the medieval fair this year.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You guys have a Ren Fair in Joburg?
Yes, we do.
Like, oh, you asshats. Jelly. I want to go to one.
So why don't you come? Like, it's 28 days, I think, now.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
not
cool.
mistaken.
I'm in Cape Town, dude.
I know you're in Cape Town, but you're visiting like
Bring the
every
Ren Fair up.
Yeah. Just come.
With what money? Are you gonna pay for my flight ticket?
Oh, what money?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
gotta pay.
Well, no. I mean, like, the thing is that, like, there are airfares for, like, or something like that. Minus
I'll-
baggage.
I'll put that on my list of things to go see one day when I have money, when I'm grown up.
Mm,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Don't we all?
So, phew, okay. Speaking of money, though, 145 million.
What?
Yeah.
What's that?
The
What?
Powerball jackpot.
Oh, is that what this month was?
Yeah, 145 million rand.
Ugh, I wouldn't mind that kind of money.
I really wouldn't either. I'd just, what's the word, 45 million into a bank account,
That's
and
been fun.
then spend 100, or just buy like 5 properties.
Yeah, but make the money work for you, even though you didn't work for your money.
Of course, but
There we
that's isn't that how business works anyway? Hashtag Donald Trump.
Wow.
Scratch.
Way to get bold.
Halcyon says that it's only a 2 or 3 day drive. Death to the bank account. You can do it.
Yeah, it's I saw this meme. It's just like it's just a picture of Kermit, but that's irrelevant. It's like, what was it say? Like, like you only live once. So buy the shoes, skip this month's rent, alienate your friends, go bankrupt, ruin your life, treat yourself.
Yeah.
There we
That's
go.
kind of how I feel about that at the moment.
But like, how is the jewelry industry, for instance? Like, I mean, obviously you've been working copper, and
I'm a coffee smith.
I'm a coffee smith. I will.
Oh
turn this
God! As soon
coffee-
as baristas start calling them coffee smiths, I am done with life.
I swear they already do that with like
I am
Starbucks.
done with life if that ever happens.
Aren't they like coffee engineers?
No, they're baristas. You can call them caffeine technicians if you want, but they're fucking coffee jockeys. That's all they are. But as soon as they go by coffee smiths, I'm done.
Speaking of speaking of smithing, Badge actually asks, "What is your favorite metal to work with?" Because yes,
Because yes.
I don't know. Favorite metal so far is definitely silver because it's more costly in a sense, but it's also a lot nicer to work with.
silver.
It's a lot cleaner. Yeah.
Hmm.
Silver, like in sterling silver. It's a lot cleaner metal to work with, and it doesn't oxidize on your hands as quickly as copper or brass. So,
All right.
Yeah.
like
does-
you're going to work in platinum in third year, so that's like 2 years away.
Ooh.
Really looking forward to that.
Like
Quick,
and
go
it's-
ahead, Ivan.
Go.
Okay. Quick question. I have a little silver pendant. What's the best way for me to clean it?
Bronze.
Dishwashing liquid and
Just
Rasa.
give
Andy.
just like give it a scrub.
Dishwashing liquid and seriously, just handy Andy.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Huh?
Let's screw it up.
There's also like a tiny bit of white gold in there. Is that going to damage it?
No, it
Okay,
shouldn't.
cool. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Badge also asks, "Have you worked with precious stones, and what is your favorite combo to work with them?"
I haven't worked with precious stones before. I think my favorite one so far is Tiger's Eye and Turquoise.
Turquoise. How fond are you of smithing with?
With what?
I don't want to ask. I'm not going to ask this question particularly because it seems like it's a troll question. How fond are you with smithing with potatoes?
Potatoes.
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 Potato Smith.
Potato smith.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. That happens.
Well, I don't know. Like, I haven't smithed with potatoes before. But they are good mashed.
Yeah. But I mean, like mashed potatoes are best potatoes.
No, fries. Screw you.
Fries. No,
actually,
but
no.
mashed
No. Hash
No,
browns.
actually, no carbs whatsoever. Fuck carbs.
Hash browns.
No carbs whatsoever. Screw it.
Yeah.
Not
You
on
can-
my diet.
You can keep your
Not
vegan
my
hippie
diet.
bullshit from me.
It's not vegan. I eat more meat now than I've ever eaten ever. Jeez.
Keto.
So
I
how
need
does one? Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I was
Like-
gonna go off topic.
No worries. Like when it comes to like metalsmith, other things along the lines of like scaling for suits and things like that. What exactly goes into that? That seems to be like one hell of an interesting sort of part of your career, honestly.
Like, I would love to try it out, but unfortunately, it's extremely expensive. As can't really, you can make the rings locally, but then you need to design it on CAD and then send it off to a place that can CNC it for you out of aluminium, and then you need to iodize it. And it's just cheap to just go and buy the packet of scales and then whatever from there. But yeah, it would be an interesting product or experience to do it.
Because I know at most Ren fairs, people are beginning to make things like chain mail and then scale mail and so forth. Like, how much does sort of your job currently within the fandom begin to meld with other fandom?
Interlinking, as far as I'm concerned at this point, because it's not only like it was at a stage where it was just the free fandom and LARPing, but now it's LARPing, it's cosplay, it's now also the furry fandom, it's all over the place.
Do you find, and this is going to be an interest, do you find the, I guess, anime and gaming arenas more willing to spend money than the furry ones?
I can't answer that at this point in time. Like, I haven't. Like, it all depends on the people itself, but I would say yes and no at the same point in time. But it's difficult.
I mean, yeah.
It all depends on the function itself, and it all depends on the location and everything else.
Mm. Well, yeah, furry and gaming and anime and all that stuff really sort of overlaps. I found that geek culture in general does quite often have some decent disposable income, whether we want to or not.
Yeah.
I myself am a hobby collector more so than anything else. So yeah, I tend to waste money on things that I know I shouldn't. Like my board game collection is a very good example of that. But yeah, I think that sort of the from what I can see, the gaming sphere and the geek sphere in general just has a lot of are quite willing to part with their money for goods that they think is worth it, or that has value to them.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some kitschy geek shit, seriously. In fact, I have some kitschy geek shit in my room right now.
Oh, yeah?
Dude, I have those portal bookends that I had made, remember?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Kitschy
Portal
geek
bookends.
shit.
Very, very kitsch.
Totes.
I can't wait to see the house that you actively
Living, yeah.
that you own.
Oh, boy. Well, it's gonna have a lot of shelves, that's all I'm gonna say.
So, I mean, where do you see...
Say again? You dropped out a bit?
No, I said, where do you see your business, Jake?
Where do I see my business?
Where do you see it going?
I don't know. Who's going with? I'm confused.
No, like I believe I said like where do you see your business going, but you like keep breaking out a little bit.
I'm sorry.
That's fine, no worries.
I just see my business going upwards. It can't go down. Like I'm already at the bottom, so it can only go up.
Are you?
I'm at the bottom because I'm only starting out, so don't take it into the wrong sense where I'm like, oh no, my business is horrid. I'm still starting out, still trying to find my feet.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. Is there any particular piece of jewelry that you like working on the most? Like, let's say rings, pendants, earrings, that kind of thing.
At this point in time, I just like manufacturing in general, like anything from earrings to pendants to bracelets. It's all interlinked and it's all like hands-on work, so I enjoy it immensely.
There is something very like satisfying about making something with your hands physically. It's like I made this, and it looks nice, and I'm happy. Yeah. At least I find it that way. Like coding has its own rewards, but if you can look at it like a nice meal that you made or something that you put hours into and crafted and like shaped over time, and then you're like, I made this and I'm happy about it. There's a nice feeling there for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. It's actually extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But the thing is that like, and the question is always going to be that is the reward always worth the payout?
Oh, if it makes you happy and you can Like, if you can make money off of it, then great. But if it gives you some peace of mind and you're happy doing it, then I say yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Stretch. It's definitely it's worth it in the end. I think, like, if you enjoy what you're doing, it's worth it. But it's also then you need to look at the economical complications of it, and then be like, is it really worth it for me? Am I charging too little? Am I charging too much?
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point in time, I'm fairly happy. Like, I'm honestly happy.
Hmm.
No, that's awesome. Like, it's great that you can find something
pretty
like that to sort of that keeps you occupied, is something that can generate an income and that you enjoy doing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of people who can say the same thing, in all honesty, but yeah. Good on you, man.
Yay!
For South Africa, what do you think needs to be done to be able to get us to the point of being a viable market?
For what?
For absolutely anything that we're actually.
Just like,
I don't know. You're asking really complicated questions tonight, hey?
yeah.
Yeah, I know. The thing is that like it's something that's interested me. Like, I mean, you've, I guess, admitted in some sense necessarily be the best economically sort of strong place to be able to do, intricate work in the way that you do. But like, there must be a way to be able to get in. There must be a way to be able to sort of put your stuff out there. What do you think would be the best way to do that?
Only thing I can think of now that's just popping into my head is actually social media.
Yeah.
That's anything from Facebook to Instagram to even an Etsy store. Like, that's actually one of the things that I'm looking into is opening an Etsy store, because jewelry in South Africa is also, they would rather buy internationally as well. Or they would rather go for the Chinese stuff than to actually pay what it's worth.
Mm.
To say, like, I have been warned, like, even by my HOD, she's like, but you should actually open an Etsy store or go like internationally to the States or something, because that's where the big money lies. It's not locally, it's internationally.
Mm.
Although at least in this day and age, it's a little bit easier to do, to start up an e-commerce platform, especially for sort of craft goods
Yeah.
in the likes of Etsy or something like that. Is there another platform
no,
like
definitely.
Etsy? I'm kind of only familiar with Etsy.
What about creating a South African version?
You're just going to complicate it more.
Mm.
I don't know, like, I don't think there is another platform like Etsy. I know there's what's the big other one that's international? Amazon, but I don't think they have normal people like selling on Amazon itself. There's more big companies or something.
No, like niche brands or small brands kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Amazon will probably be kind of strict about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I'm not familiar with how their shopkeeping works.
Neither am I.
Mm. So, for other people in South Africa possibly wanting to start out and start businesses, and whatnot, what do you think is a good piece of advice for them?
I don't know, like, just try it out. Don't go all in. Do your research. Like, try and find your market. Try and find if it's feasible for you to get
Mhm.
into the market, and not go like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then full out go on it.
That's a
think
good piece
that's
of
the best.
advice.
That's the best advice I can give at this.
I can imagine just sort of putting all your eggs in one basket can really mess things up if it does go south.
Yeah.
Don't quit your day job.
well, I don't know. I swear there should be a market for South Africans in this respect, and I think unfortunately it does mean branching out a little bit. Because again, like it's not like the work here is in any way subpar. I think that it's on par with a large amount of like international sellers and things like that. And weirdly enough, even with shipping, pricing should actually be either comparable or better than by like a large amount.
Mm. South Africa is quite a cheap market to produce things in, but yeah, again, you're competing against established names in most cases, and that's the major issue.
Yep. All because of names. Name brand.
Well, if you could create a particular name, I'm sure that you already have, but like what would your company, like in total, respect to fursuits, jewelry, so on and so forth, be called?
I don't know. Like they all have their certain names.
Yeah.
I don't think I wouldn't actually mix my jewelry with my fursuits. Like it's two different companies. Keep it separate. Don't try and like the furry aspects. Maybe if one client would like custom jewelry for their fursuit, yes, sure. But then it's one company versus another company. It's not interlinked in a sense.
But it's all run by the same person.
Seems yes, but well, yeah, it's run by the same person. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, hello, multiple personality disorder, much.
Nice, dude.
Hold on, I have a cough button. Sorry.
Die in your own time. We're live.
Hashtag me too.
Okay, just hold on 2
No,
seconds.
don't.
No, I'm back. I pressed my cough button. And yeah, so with it's interesting to actually have to look at this and look at like sort of different kinds of marketing ideas, because I mean this question has come up quite often actually in respect to like fursuiters and fursuit makers and everything like that. It's that like I mean you'd have very very infrequent orders, and to be able to do that like within the space of time where you're also working, you're also doing a whole bunch of other things, going to particular colleges and whatnot, to be able to learn particular crafts. Is it really that sort of far-fetched to be able to ask whether like being local in this respect is that difficult?
Not really. It all depends on like what actually are you asking. If you're asking about if it's feasible for you to actually do it with your day job and with all the other things that you are doing, like yeah, sure, like time management. That's what it comes down to. It's time management. If you have time to play games, you have time to make something. Like it's all prioritized.
Yeah, but that's even more difficult for me to sort of consider. Is the idea that like I mean, oh, okay, just give me a sec.
I kind of understand what he means. It's sort of difficult to. I don't know. It's difficult to pull yourself up by your bootstraps at the end of the day and say, okay, now I'm gonna sit down and work on this thing that can generate me money, but I'm so fucking tired.
Like that's obviously the issue, right?
Yeah, for most people, I think.
But it all depends on the person itself, and it all depends on what's on your plate.
Yeah.
Like, don't take on more work than what you can handle. Like, for instance, if I got 5 commissions now, I'm sorry, I can't take it. Like, I can help you next year, or I can help you whenever, but not now.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the general sort of comeback time in respect to fursuit making? Like, if you had to spend, like, what would an ideal amount of time be?
Constantly or on and off?
constantly?
About a month.
A month. Okay.
A month. From start to finish. And then
So-
that's with screw-ups, sewing,
Mhm.
taking breaks, taking your 2 or 3 days just to go like, I'm done.
Mm. And I mean that's generally a month's salary.
Yeah, but
That would have to be.
yeah, but you know, see that's what it comes to price again. Like nobody can afford it.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like the geez, one has to look at like average South African. I think that you'd have to be able to take in the entire sort of population salaries in since the recent amount of unemployed has gone quite high. So it
Yeah.
does sort of prove, or not prove, but it does point out that, like, I mean, in South Africa, the market is already as good nor as strong as it should be for people to be able to do, I think, personal projects like this. And as much as we'd love for there to be like dedicated fursuit makers where they can make fursuits within the month and to be able to pay for them, like, are there any other options? Like, I mean, I know that saving up is one of them, but like, say, I don't know, like working on 4 different fursuits and having all 4 of them, every single one of them paying you like a stipend over the amount of 4 months. Do you think that might be more feasible?
Yeah, but if there's commissions, like I currently have a commissioner that's paying me off, but unfortunately I can't start until it's almost completely paid off.
Yeah.
Because I need to go and buy the materials. I need to sit down and do it.
Mm.
Because it's extremely annoying for me to actually start on a head or whatever it is, and then just having it laying around my room or in my workspace. It's annoying.
Can imagine.
Huh.
And yeah, and also you can't have too many of those sort of open at the same time, otherwise you're just going to bleed yourself dry for how many
That's
months
true.
before you get paid, in total
Yep.
at least.
Well, if you get paid, then you technically completed the thing, and then it's like, oh, sorry, but I didn't want it anymore. So what you going to do then?
Oh, but they've already paid you, haven't they?
No.
No.
Usually it's paid on completion. Or at least the full
Yeah.
amount's paid on completion.
There must be a better way to say this. Like that's just silly, isn't it?
Sorry, but that's how things work. You will never get like an 80% deposit out of anything. You get like 50% maybe, and then 80% or 100% if it's handed in or
Mm.
if it's done. But until then, ha ha ha, good luck with that.
This paints a very awkward picture for the South African fandom. Do you have any ideas of how to fix it? Maybe.
Unfortunately, not. It's all comes down to what the person can afford and what the person can't afford.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean we
Do
can't
you have-
we can't create a market where there's no money, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
Phew.
the money is just like it's a luxury. Come on, even in cosplay, it's a luxury.
oh for sure.
So it all comes down to what people want and what the people can afford.
Hmm.
Oof.
Okay. Um. For aspiring creator, again, like, and like what kind of passions do you need?
I would actually say that you need to be very creative. You need to be you need to think out of the box. Like if somebody comes to you with a problem, you need to think out of the box and how are you going to fix it. And there's also You technically need to be an entrepreneur
Mm-hmm.
because you actually need to market yourself and not rely on other people to market for you. But it's also
Okay.
extremely difficult because there's only a few. I think the main problem is there's only a few furries in South Africa. It's not as big as in the States. I think that's the biggest problem. It's small, but it's also people would rather go overseas than support local at this point in time.
How do you get people to support local?
You can't. It's their own decision.
Yeah, but like, I mean, what do you think? Like, the thing is that marketing. So, what would be the best way to get people to start supporting local?
Show them what you can do. Bring your A game.
Okay. And do you think that Basil is your A game? What do you think that, like, that's only the beginning? That's only the sort of tip of the iceberg.
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, like, and there's a whole bunch of other people that have been, dabbling at least at this point. Like, where do you get going? Where do you start moving forward?
I don't know, like self-motivation. I think that's the best.
Self-motivation.
Self-motivation. Working towards a point.
But
That's tough for a lot of people, though.
that is really people.
I know.
Yeah, I guess that's sort of what separates the employee from the entrepreneur kind of thing.
Yep.
What would motivate you?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. Yeah. What would motivate you?
I don't know, grand prize maybe, or something like.
Hmm.
I'm working towards another cosplay for Comic-Con. Like, I'm working towards that first prize of 10,000 rand.
Ooh,
And
That's
US
a
trip.
lot of money. That's technically a fursuit in South Africa,
It's
Or
more than
more.
a person in South Africa.
yeah.
but it's
That's like 3.
yeah. But that's all on like base cost price.
Yep.
But the thing is that like I mean, beyond a windfall, where do you move? How do you get to? Like I mean, we're talking about self motivation. What gets you up in the morning?
I don't know. I just wake up and do it. Do it.
Do it.
Thank you, Shia
So
LaBeouf.
like,
Yeah.
are you do you just play Shia LaBeouf every single? Like, I would love to have that as an alarm.
No,
Badge
the average
just-
person would go mad.
Set me a reminder for Shia LaBeouf in the morning at 6:30.
Ugh.
Do it!
Go on,
Just
yeah.
do it! I can't. There's no way.
I will. That is the quickest way for me to break my phone.
That is the quickest way for me to just get up and like punch the chinchilla.
That definitely sounds like a euphemism for something.
No, we literally have a chinchilla.
I know, but it sounds like a euphemism.
What?
Go on.
Oh dear.
I must. Just do it. Okay. Yeah. Like, South Africa has so much potential. And I think that South Africa really does have a lot more to do with the idea that yes, we can have entrepreneurs. Would you feel better working with other people in South Africa, maybe? Like creating like a conglomerate?
I would actually like that, but we're all busy people. Like, I've got a jewelry shop to run, I've got other commissions to work on, I've my own stuff to do. Like, there's not a lot of time. I think that's the main issue is you got all those opportunities, but you don't have the time.
Yeah, but more hands, less work, right?
Not if you're working like on a certain, let's for instance say like a fursuit. It needs to be a certain style, and you the one that does the style best. You can only do the style.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah, you unfortunately have to. Yeah, you can't pass on style. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that, yeah.
Can't you though? I know that everybody has a preferred style, but the thing is that like it doesn't stop be like limited. I don't necessarily feel that limitation here. And that's something that I want to sort of like put forward is that like limitations are only the limitations that you set for yourself. And if you feel that like particular styles are things that are different, if there are people styles in one way or another that are better, then wouldn't like being able to work together with them be easier?
Yeah, no, of course. Because it's, like you said, more hands, less work.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like,
mean-
if there's no work, what do you do?
Personal projects, work on something together, work something to things that you can do. Remember, like you show people you can do. And if it comes across as cheaper, even if it is being then that's already something, right?
Yeah, no, of course.
Personal projects can only go so far if it's gonna like run you too much out of pocket, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the
Like,
thing. Like, it all comes down to money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your time has value, and if you're not getting the value out of your time, then unfortunately it's not feasible to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Which is why we all have day jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Not for yourself, I'm a student.
Well, for now, eventually.
For now.
Even
For
if the
now.
shop is your day job, it will still be a day job.
Yeah.
Oh, independent wealth, how I yearn for you. How do I make a lot of money really quickly?
Murder someone.
I mean, without
Wow,
obviously without,
those are the two different options that we have.
what are the options?
Sell a kidney and murder someone.
Sell a kidney or murder someone. One of them one of them like detracts from my quality of life immediately, and the other one detracts from my quality of life potentially.
Yeah, it depends on how well you can.
Depends on how well I hide from the police.
Yeah, true. I mean, at the end of the day, like obviously you can just some form of like gang, get money from murdering people. Yeah,
Dude, then I'm still working for someone.
Oh, fair enough, but at least you're making more money working for someone than you would, like, doing non-exciting things like murdering.
Well,
Yeah. Killing people sounds like a blast.
Brain.
brain is no moosh.
Say again?
Brain is no moosh.
Yes.
Yes, brain is not mush.
It's been a long weekend. I was supposed to do my taxes, but it was like,
Taxes? Oof.
yeah, my tax
You make
returns.
enough money to actually have to do tax returns?
Yes.
Ah, shit. Sudan says to you, Scratch, just by
Yes.
the way, she's always watching.
I know that.
Yeah, but just so you know.
Is that all she wanted to say? Like she's checking up on me.
Literally in all caps, tell Scratch I am always watching.
Like Danny.
Oh dear.
Yeah, like, so, okay.
Hmm?
Enough of this, like, we've been going down a relatively pressing sort of thing in this sort of idea. Tell me more about Basil and Jake.
Yeah, where did Basil come from? Like I never asked that out actually.
Well, you can actually thank Cuddles for that.
Yeah.
I wanted to make, well, technically be a good friend and make him a fursuit head. And then just started researching a lot of animals, or, well, deers and caribous, and then actually fell in love with them.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's where Basil comes from.
But, like, you can't fit through doors.
It's part of the thing. It's in proportion.
Okay. Have you done the whole try to put a shirt on your head thing?
No, he wants to do that, and I'm like, no, shall not.
It will break everything.
So
It's
I
fine.
mean, again, maybe like obviously you did research and things like that, but why exactly? Oh, I researched them, so on. What more is there? There has to be more to the story.
I don't know. Like there's not really much I can say. Like I just fell in love with the species, and like they're just awesome. They're awesome. They're
Okay.
sexy, and like even other species overseas, they fucking art.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, and I've seen the process in the fact that like Basil can put on his horns. Like, is
Yeah,
there a point? Do you
antlers.
have like sorry, antlers? You're welcome. Sorry, what am I saying? You're welcome for? Thank you.
Thank you.
But like, are you gonna make like mid-tier to like medium tier horn? I'm
Antlers.
sorry, antlers for like
Why?
parts of the season. Like that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
I could probably. I was actually looking at doing that, but then I'm like, I'm lazy. Let's not do that.
Oh, but you must. But it looks so difficult to put them on. Like you have
It's
what? It's a bolt action, right?
yeah, it's a bolt action. I wanted to have them 3D printed at bolts, but yeah, they're a bit too heavy,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay.
So I made a bit of a mistake by making them, but it's okay.
No, it
I
looks
actually made them
awesome.
for
Honestly,
I actually
wait,
made them
wait.
for LARPing purposes as well, so you can
LARP?
actually go LARP with them.
Oh, please tell me how you LARP with them.
Okay, I will show you next time.
Are you going to find the next biggest deer slash deer around and just sort of challenge them? My horns
Yeah,
are
and with
bigger.
them with my yeah, I will.
Okay. So, but you're in the process of creating another deer, right? So that you can have said challenges.
Have the challenges. For Comic Con, it's more sheep, and then for Basil's second half, it's more a ram.
Yeah.
So maybe not. Like I'll see how it goes.
Okay.
You
On a
mentioned
scale of
you
one
wanted
to
the ram horns, yeah.
go. So
What?
one of the questions that I do really want to ask, right? Ram versus deer,
Caribou.
caribou. Who wins?
It's an equal match.
Is it an
No.
equal match? But I mean, like caribou technically have the advantage.
I would say yes, in a way, of the sense of I don't know, antler distance maybe versus
Antler
horns.
distance. Okay. Do you intend? Do you intend to make like a whole bunch of tennis balls with holes on them to put on like every single antler?
Christmas light.
Christmas
No,
lights
I'm
is
not
the
going to
second
do that.
question.
No,
Christmas
no,
But you
lights.
I'm
must.
not going to do that. Lads,
Make it
Like,
festive.
but yes, either lights or like tennis balls, particularly because all the dogs will want one. I know that I would. I will literally steal at least two of them, run off with them, lose them, and try to steal.
you just want to do shenanigans at first, don't you, Ivik?
I want your balls.
Wow.
Oh,
And
dear.
on that note, I think we're done here. I think we're done.
Are you sure about that?
Christ.
I'm actually enjoying it now.
Okay, but like closing remarks. Let's actually move into that. We've got about 15 minutes of podcast. Maybe just talk to us about like, where you want to go, social media things, and what you're going to be doing.
Just repeat the question, please.
Okay. Social media,
Yeah.
where you want to go with your profession, and
How will
everything
you
else.
achieve those?
Yes, how will you achieve them?
I don't know, like more social media marketing. Maybe if I have a bit more experience in Facebook marketing, I would actually start advertising on Facebook as well. But yeah, like lots of tweeting and lots of Facebook posts, and yeah, like finding where I fit in technically in the market space.
And where can we find you on social?
Social media is Jake Dane ZA.
At Jake Dane
Or
today.
at Jake Dane ZA or Jake Dane ZA on most of the social media. That includes Facebook, Telegram, and what's the other one again? YouTube. There we go. And Twitter, yeah.
I have an outside person here, Badge, who, who
Outside.
said, yes, outside. He's outside of my microphone range.
An independent
And
fucking
completely and
source.
utterly independent. Yes. He actually says that if you do want marketing advice and things like that, probably speak to him. Respect to that. Anybody else who wants to offer, any kind of help to Jake Dane, then yeah, please do. He's available. All of his social media is. We will obviously post a large amount of that on the site for those of you who do want to know about it.
Yes, we will be posting.
Okay. Anything else? Closing remarks. What would you like to say?
I don't know. Like, thank you for having me, and it's actually been quite a lot of fun. Like, I would not say no to another podcast.
Yeah,
But I'm actually feeling better.
I think, I think that's. People have been pointing out to us from South Africa that there's been a large lack of South African furries on a, what do you call it? A furry radio station.
On a South African furry podcast
called south-afrifur, and like very few South Africans. And we've been actually looking at a bunch of research and trying to get as many of you guys on. So if you want to be on again, let me know. And I think probably one of the things that we want to be able to do is maybe just bounce off one another a bit more, like get like a whole bunch of South African furries together to talk about like where we want to go and how we want to move.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I have the entire peanut gallery. It's like
Yes,
one big
all-
Discord channel. Everybody talking.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Everybody
Absolute
talking at the
fucking
exact
chaos.
same time. Exactly like this. Yeah. All right. Well, as we are here at 9, within the next 10 minutes, I will be playing music for you guys, for you lot, and we'll be doing as much as we possibly can. Obviously, for those of you who have any kind of, contact with Jake Dane, I know that there has already been one person, just letting you know, who has asked for your contact details. Yeah, woo. But yeah, they do want your contact.
No, this is your commercial interest?
Yes. But yeah, so they do want your contact details. I believe that they've contacted you on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, at Jake Dane ZA, if I'm not mistaken as well. But yeah, so do contact him. Those of you who are from South Africa, hell, those of you international sources and things who would like to use his particular set of skills for anything, please do have a look at him. We will definitely put down in our YouTube video for those of you who want to actually have that information. But yeah, so within the next about 10 minutes, we will be playing some live music, all of the requests that you guys have off my playlist. My playlist has now been recruited in some senses. But yeah, looking good. We will see you guys next week. I believe it's Jessica Colley. And one of the things that you guys should actually have a look out for, especially on our social media site, is that I've been speaking to Careless Whiskers recently into having an interview with him. But one of the things and one of the problems that we sort of found is because of his particular ailment, he is unable to speak very well. And we would like to be able to just give him some form of ability to actually, have a chat with us. everything like that. And we'll try to figure out how we're. In that same sense, last week's podcast, for those of you guys who missed out, we are still trying to figure out another way of getting the video out for that. Because I did, like, all of the in-between bits were done ad hoc and unrecorded. My fault, I'm sorry. But yeah, it does exist, and we just want to sort of figure out how we're going to be, or how we. My tongue is dry.
Use your words.
How we're going to put that up onto the YouTube channel, if it's going to be put up like either in segments, or if we're going to put it up as, you know, individual, as one big sort of piece of information. But yeah, thank you guys all for listening. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, Jake Dane / Basil, for being on the podcast. We really do appreciate it. I'm going to say that we do have a whole unasked questions, because they're all just popping up in my head right now. That means that we are definitely going to ask come back at some point.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Cool.
Right. And for now, yeah, we will see you guys in about 10 minutes or so, or at least I will see you guys. So, and yeah, have a good evening. Further.
Also, just a quick announcement. There is some plans in the pipeline for us to do some game streaming within the near future. We will keep you guys up to date with that, most likely via our Twitter account. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. If anyone wants to play Golf It with us, let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see you guys around.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.